WBAP Newsroom.
News Talk 800 WBAP.
70 right now at WBAP. Dr. G.M. Cox is the director of the Public Administration Master's Degree Program at Tarleton State. Kind enough to join us. 4 decades experience in law enforcement. And it comes down yesterday, Dr. Cox, that this West explosion was intentionally set, was deliberately set. What's the next move in the investigation now?
That's a great question. I think what you're going to see is that they've obviously got information that they're not releasing to the media or the public. So I see that what the ATF is doing is getting their ducks in a row. They've obviously discovered evidence from the scene that's not explainable by what was there, stored there, used in processing, and so on. So the interesting thing is that they don't want to use the word arson. I suspect there's a reason for that, and typically will probably be if they get a confession. They want to be able to say that off the record.
Is there a mass murderer on the loose now?
Well, that's a great question as well. I think what happened is many times we have these things called unintended consequences. So if they are alleging that an individual set this incendiary device and that incendiary device was intended to create what had happened, yes, then you have a mass murder. Because they had to have realized or should have realized the consequences of their actions. On the other hand, if they didn't do that, that doesn't mean they won't be prosecuted for it, but it will make their proof go up considerably.
Yeah, you've been following this story. Did this come as a surprise to you yesterday?
It was kind of a surprise. It's been 3 years since the incident. They've had this evidence all along. One of the I guess you'd say theories in that is that we continue to improve science. And so they may have been able to, using developing science techniques, discover something they could not have found earlier, or they got more information from another source that led them in another direction. That's possible as well.
What does rebuilding a crime scene entail? I'm sure they didn't build the entire part of West Texas there. What does that mean when they reconstruct a scene?
Well, the ATF is probably one of the best in the world at reconstruction bomb sites, particularly when you have to look at the bomb site, look at every explosive, regardless of the kind, has a particular behavior to it, depending on what's around it. So, for instance, you've heard of directional explosions, or IEDs, example, have a limit because of the way it has resistance or not. So an explosive device, whether it be dynamite, C4, or whatever, has a character to it. So when they reconstruct the scene, what you're seeing is how it behaves with its environment. And that's why they do a lot. They're very good at reconstructing their scenes.
Who's the lead dog in the investigation now? Will it be ATF from the beginning?
Well, it seems like it is right now. I suspect that FBI is involved. I also believe that they probably have the state fire marshal in Texas as well as DPS involved, but right now it appears that ATF, since they have the expertise in the house, these guys have developed over many years the expertise to deal with explosives as well as arson. So they're very capable of what they're doing, and they're very experienced at it. So I would say that right now they're running with the ball.
After all this time, will it be hard to find the person who did it?
I think it's going to be impossible almost, unless they get this $50,000 reward they're offering is obviously meant to create leads. It may not lead to one contact, may not in fact lead to one person, but a number of pieces of information may lead to that suspect. Or they already have a suspect in mind, and this is thrown out there to either get further information or to throw that person off so that they start making a mistake.
Dr. G.M. Cox, always appreciate the time from
Great
Tarleton.
stuff.
Always good. Yes,
Great
726 at WBAP.